The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. Yeah, like I'm sitting here like all of a sudden I was just like, wait, what am I supposed to say next? I've never done this before. And we are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night is the case would be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you just stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, we have our riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Damn it. Blink Jay. I was like, uh-oh. Like Jay's frozen, but he's not. Next, he is the friggin'... Oh, wait. Hold on. There we go. Bam. He's our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. He is Oz.
How do you guys do all this with just one screen?
I don't know.
We do it well.
Right. Exactly.
Well, now you know the bad buggy shit. It turns out it takes three of us to be able to do it because we all have control over one screen.
Right. And now he's gone.
He didn't even listen, like a little bit.
Like, okay, Oz. Oh, almost. There it is.
I hate this. This is stupid. I want me back in my studio where I know what's happening.
Right. I like that shirt, Oz. I like that shirt.
You got the port too, like Larry that one time.
Right. Look, Oz done snuck back in. Next,
give me one of them gold cards.
Oh my god. He's the friggin' backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses.
I had something to say here, and I totally forgot what it was. It was gonna be hilarious, at least in my brain. But
I believe
here I am.
Here you are, rocking like a hurricane. All right. So, welcome to Fantastic Forum. We've got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking to you all about Bug Wars #1, a new indie book from Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Ansar. We'll also be talking to you all about Cruel Kingdom #1 and 2, which is a fantasy horror anthology series with a lot of different creators. So we got that going on as well, plus whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is. You can let us know what you want to be talking about in just a moment. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope all is well with you, good sir. And with that said, let's have the intern do their thing.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Right. So definitely you can hit the call-in button. You'll be the 5th member of Fantastic Forum, or you can always jump into chat. We'll take your comments directly out of a chat and bring them into the show, such as Jay, insert a witty chat comment here.
Hexzilla says I'll laugh anyway.
Thank you.
Look, and speaking of which, Hexzilla.
Who's a witch?
Heck is in the building. What up, Heck? How are you?
I'm good. I was good. I don't know what Mode called me. A witch? A second?
Larry called you a witch. Speaking of a witch,
that's bullshit. I'm out of here. I'm calling the ACLU right now.
Yeah, like I like.
Hecht is our resident intellectual of He laughs at all
Yes.
the smart jokes.
That's right.
I like
I
the
get
little
it.
logo. Heck, that's nice.
Yeah, a friend made it for me a long time ago. Back in the dark ages when there was a Justin.tv.
It reminds me
Oh,
of,
man.
of the little homies. Like if Heck was a little homie.
Man,
There it is.
I'd say
There it
that's racist, but Mo ain't white, so
No, and I love those little homies.
on
Like,
brand.
there's a band that I like, a local band here called Desmadre, and they're like cholos that do heavy music, and they had a little line like how people get pops made of them. They got made little homies made out of the band. Like it's so cool.
That's badass though.
It's like I wish I had a little homie made of me. Although I don't dress like a cholo.
It's all right. You just
Like
gotta
my-
get the food socks that go up on the
Yeah.
cap.
Man would be a little round one with skinny jeans and a cowboy hat.
So cool. Yeah. So we're gonna chat. We're gonna talk. You all can listen, or if you want to get in on the conversation, do what we told you. I'll friggin' go to fantasticforum.live and you can jump in whatever way makes you feel most comfortable, whether that be YouTube chat or Twitch chat or whatever. So it's good to see everybody again. It's like I don't know why it feels like it's been I don't know why it feels like it's been a long time, but it does. You know, these weeks can be rough. Right?
I feel like this year is moving on really slow.
Look, or really fast.
It depends. Because this past week has been going quicker than a week should. Last week went about 3 weeks. So I don't know.
Right. Like January felt crazy. January felt long as I don't know what, but February breezed by. So I don't know. I mean, it is a short month, but it felt like a week as opposed to January, which felt like 2 months.
Technically, it's a short month.
Right.
Except for that middle week. That one felt like 2 months.
So, this past weekend, it was actually Comics Pros, which is the industry like retailer comics convention was here in Glendale, California, and I mean, none of us here are retailers, so we didn't get in on the action, but there was.
Jay and I could have gone as shareholders of, representatives of IDW.
There it is. They're like,
but I actually had a hair convention, so I couldn't do that, and my uncle's funeral.
Damn.
Fair. Okay.
Here he is.
Moses, if you don't stop.
No, I know. I didn't get the ashes. He's actually getting cremated tomorrow, so I don't have the ashes, or at least some of them yet. I don't know how we're gonna distribute them.
So, there was a few different stories that came out of Comic Pros this past weekend, but the biggest of which has to be the editors of both Marvel and DC coming together to announce that they're going to be doing another set of crossovers that will be happening. If I'm not mistaken, I think they said before the year is out. And they're basically doing a DC Marvel crossover that will be handled by completely handled by the talent over at DC. And they're going to be doing a Marvel DC crossover that'll be handled by the talent over at Marvel. So this is something that I know, like, people in the industry that have wished for this to happen yet again, because it hasn't happened since, is it the late 90s? Is that right?
Early 90s.
Not even mid.
Yeah, barely mid, like 92, 93, I think.
Yeah. When amalgamation got made.
Right. Amalgam. Right. And so it hasn't happened, for
I have amalgam
some decades now. And so, I mean, I'm here to ask you all, what do you think? And is this something that is this something that excites you? Like, you know, and I just want to go like let's just start there, right? Like, Jay, how do you feel about it? Do you care, or are you like, oh, look, I've been waiting? How do you feel?
I need more details.
That's fair. I mean, but you know, just on initial blush, do you have a thought? Like, what's your initial thought? Yes or no or?
Yeah, I'm like it could be special or it could be shit. Like, it's way too early to tell.
Okay.
So I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not unlooking forward to it. It's just
I'm looking forward to it.
I just need more info before I get excited and or disappointed.
Gotcha. Okay. Oz, how about you, man? What's your initial thought?
Same. I need more info because I don't feel like it's something we need or anybody's been looking for. I don't know. Maybe
You don't think anybody's been looking for a DC
Nah.
Marvel crossover?
The retailers have, but that's about it.
Yo, okay, that's interesting. That's
Not
interesting.
really. I mean, look.
I mean,
No one's
Jeff
gonna
brought that
wait.
up like 2 years ago when we were on the phone once. Like, they need to do that again. You know, like
Mhm.
Right? The only thing,
I mean, retailers are the only one that are going to win. Everything's going.
that's what I'm saying. They're the only ones looking forward to it.
Nobody on either company is going to want their character to look like they lost.
Yeah. It's be like Kong versus
Okay.
Godzilla. Jay, what were you gonna say? Sorry, we spoke over
like
you.
no, it's like one of the only interesting concepts where I could say, oh my god, like I would be super excited, like just off brand to hear about is like what Marvel heroes would get what lantern rings. So like if they were doing something like that, I would be excited for that. But otherwise, off the top, I can't really think of anything where I'm like, oh, I need to see Justice League versus Avengers. It's like, I don't need to see that. Like, it could be good, or it could be crap. Like, and it depends on who's writing and drawing it, and
Okay.
yeah.
What do you think, Hack?
Well, like going off of what Jay said, they already did Avengers and Justice League. That was like the last major crossover Marvel and DC had. That was like late 90s, early 2000s. So like if they're going like DC versus Marvel, there's things they could do, but I don't know if either company would be willing to give up something like, oh, they lost or this lost. It's very much like a early 80s wrestling where the companies were straight separate, and they would have the champion fight champion like a superstar Billy Graham and like Nick Bockwinkel or Flair. And there was never a winner. Those matches always went to like a double count out, double disqualification, something, because nobody wanted to lose.
Right.
And if they do that now, like it's 2025, like it says fake is wrestling. So somebody give up something. You have jobbers in both areas. Like you can lose, you can afford to lose it. You're gonna make money anyway.
Yeah.
What I would like to see is like have Batman Who Laughs go over to Marvel, and then you end up with like the Spider-Man that's happy or something, you know.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Jay made me think of something that I just want to get your guys' opinion real quick.
Wait, real quick. Let me go to Moses. Mo, what are your initial thoughts on this?
So I would get creative with it. I don't know if it's because I smoke weed and shit, but I would get wild with it. I wouldn't do just a straight DC versus Marvel. I do like fucking Black Label versus Marvel Knights. or I would do Flashpoint versus Age of Apocalypse. You know, like those versions of those heroes versus those versions of those heroes in each crisis, or you know, those eras of you know, the Krakoa era X-Men compared to the how Krakoa era or the regular X-Men fought those people back in the 90s are two different types of books you would read. You know, even if they fought the same exact people. You know, I feel like the better fight now would be Deadpool versus Lobo than Wolverine versus Lobo. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that it gives you a better, but it's like, well, fuck it, let's do a crossover, but let's do Deadpool kills the DC universe, and and then Lobo kills the Marvel universe. You know, like I would get creative with it with these books, like not just this weird rift where they connect or whatever, like whatever story for this. No, I would get creative with it because they already have a lot of different parallel universes within each other. It's like Old Man Logan versus like Superman 1 million, you know, some shit like that, you know, like or Maestro versus Superman 1 million, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like you can get real creative with it now because of how creative comics have gotten since the last crossover. You know,
right.
So I don't know if they're gonna do that. I hope they would. I hope my answer for them is the easy answer, at least. But that, like, the examples I've given, I don't need to see those exactly, but something similar along those lines. Like, just get creative with it. Like, it doesn't have to be just your straight up, oh, you're Captain America versus Superman. Like, nah, or you know, we don't need to see that. Like, I want to see a specific. I want to see fucking Captain Hydra versus Superman. You know, like something like that. You know, so it's like, you know, something like that, or fucking Iron Man versus Superman, like a guy that knows how to use use kryptonite to power the arc reactor, you know.
Now it's interesting because I will say that, you know, I feel like everybody to a certain degree has kind of mentioned a little bit of like the versus kind of thing, and technically they didn't say it was a versus, they just said it's a crossover. So
no, yeah, but I mean, we assume it's a versus just because how it went, but either way, like even if it's the Age of Apocalypse and Flashpoint coming together to stop, like figure out where the fuck they are, you know, like that would be more interesting. Like one of my favorite crossovers across properties was Legion Lost with Star Trek, and that was the shit, you know, like where it's like what was not Ultra Humanite, but the other dude that lives forever. Like trapped a Q in the Stone Age and ruined the universe. It's like
Vandal Savage.
Yeah, like Vandal Savage created like trapped a Q and used them for his power and changed both the DC and the Star Trek universe together. And that shit was tight. Like even they're like, this isn't a mirror universe. This is like a dark mirror universe, and you know, and the way they handle those things with the Legion of Superheroes trapped in a time bubble while the New 52 was happening, like that shit works so well. And it was created because you could be reading Legion and then it goes to that and then they come back and you're like whatever, but then you have this extra matter to this book that's like a really good story that has Star Trek in it, and in the DC universe they don't even know nothing about Star Trek.
Right.
You know? Right. So, and that's where, like, I think that's what they could do here, like, even make it somewhat in continuity, even though there's probably no real consequences, you know. And if they actually do have consequences and they have to share rights and stuff, and both make a bunch of money together, that'd be even great. But honestly, I want to see like Marvel and DC versus like the Radiant Black universe, or like the Cowl, Agents of Cowl, you know, or like Black Hammer, you know, like, well, they did do a Justice League Black Hammer, but yeah.
I'm sure like those other books would love to something like that to happen.
But
so,
but those are like Invincible, you know, like they're more interesting people that I would want to see instead of redoing a new one. There's a lot of other that I want to see do, and you know, it's almost like and you know, maybe we can do like something with all independent characters and call it like the War of the Independents.
Only such a thing existed. I know, right?
For like 10 years,
exactly.
And they're still making money off it. I love that dude.
So Oz, man, what were you about to say, friend?
It's not as interesting now. I was just wondering because Jay was wondering who would get what ring, and
Oh,
a thought occurred that Wolverine would probably get a red ring, but then would his regeneration make his heart not get replaced by the ring?
mm,
And how would that
That's a good
affect his
question.
power?
yeah, no, that's a good question.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
Loki, I think I really like. I would think Wolverine would get a blue ring. Like, believe it or not, just because.
Really? Why?
Well, because he's lived so long, like, and he hates it. So it's like finding some glimmer of hope would overpower him. You know, like give him the power. You know, whereas like Will, like he doesn't need Will. Like he doesn't have to. He just have to sit and wait to heal. You know, like I feel like Daken would be more with the red ring. You know.
Interesting.
Same question. He regenerates too, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I get it, but it's just the characters. Like, what I think the more interesting thing to do would be like give a different type of ring, a side of Wolverine you never saw, depending on the ring he gets. Like he could do like a fucking when he almost had the threesome with Scott, it would have been like the Star Sapphire. He would have got the Star Sapphire ring.
Oh, jeez. I think that
Or the Indigo tribe. Because the Indigo tribe don't talk, so because it'd be a dick in his mouth.
Okay. I think an interesting aspect
You
of
consented.
this particular crossover is that you're gonna have the way they made it sound, and again, we don't know all the details or whatever, but the way they made it sound was like there was going to be like a DC Marvel one and then a Marvel DC one, and so that kind of
that's bullshit.
Why is that bullshit?
I don't want to see that.
Well, like, why not though? Like,
I just
don't
want one
say
title.
it. Like, it's like what? But why though? That we get what you're saying. You don't like it, but why?
I mean, why ask why? Bud Light. I mean, like, it's just it's more money to spend. Like, and I get it, but let's call it what it is. Like, it's a cash grab, but it's like let's have a little bit of integrity, a little bit, and just give us one.
It's not a cash grab if people want it, though, right?
That's literally what a cash grab is.
Yeah,
like
like
you're grabbing. They're willing to throw your cash, and you're willing to grab it.
No, I mean the idea of the cash grab is like more so like you may not necessarily want it, but you're gonna get it anyway, and they know you're gonna get it anyway, even though you don't want it, right?
If they were doing just one title, here's my reasoning: if they're doing just one title, they would have a higher quality book.
See, I'm not sure that that's true, and this is the point I was gonna make, because just like how you were saying, Heck was mentioning, oh well, you're gonna have the standoff, and nobody's gonna want to sacrifice their characters in order to say there's like a definitive winner or loser. It's like if both companies are doing their own book, the Marvel folks can win in the Marvel book, and the DC folks can win in the DC book, right? And then
even that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
but that's just you all not wanting to be satisfied. Like, there's no difference between.
I don't even want a crossover. Like, it's the retailers that want it. Like, we all started this conversation saying we don't want this.
And that's the thing. I don't like, in my experience with fans, I don't feel like fans in general are like, I don't want to see that. Like, they talk about it all the time. They want to see it.
But that's why we are who we are, and that's why there's only 2 people watching right now. Like, because we are who we are, and we speak the truth. We are who we are, and what we say goes.
Yeah, but what you're saying is the people don't want it, and that's a difference.
No, I say we don't want it.
We who?
Us, like me, Jay, Oscar, like it's not that we don't want it. Even like the idea of it, they're not excited about it. They're like, I need more details. It's like, instead of letting their imagination run wild, they're like, I need more details. Because they really don't care. Like, they're gonna keep buying comics whether this happens or not.
Oh, okay,
that's kind of true.
I listen. Look, that's a friggin' crazy ass We're just like
It's also important
comics don't
not
need to do
to.
If they want new people to buy comics, they should put a $5 million golden ticket in it, like do Willy Wonka to America, and it's like you get a citizenship with a DC comic. Yeah.
I'm also in the. I need more information because I want to get myself excited and then be more disappointed when they do what I
Right,
think.
but even the idea of it didn't let you have your imagination run wild with the possibilities that they could do now. Like you just literally like, I want more
and that's
information.
the part.
You know?
That's the part that's kind of blowing my mind, just because it's like even the idea of like, I got to see what the creative team is. It's like, I mean,
No,
you don't feel like Marvel and DC are gonna put their
No.
top creators on
No.
a Marvel
No.
DC crossover?
We are literally reviewing 2 books where these are Marvel and DC teams shooting the good load in these other books that nobody's reading. At least in my review. We'll stay tuned for that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I guess I don't look. Don't get me wrong. I understand that comic book like fans have a certain amount of cynicism in it, but this is blowing my mind here, where you're all like,
Check it out.
We're also
It's like,
old.
we gotta see who the
Absolutely.
writer and who the artist is. You guys don't think
No.
they're gonna put like one of the best writers and one of the best artists on a Marvel DC crossover
No,
book?
they're not.
Why would they not do that?
Because those take too long.
What are you talking about? What are you even saying, Moses? What takes too long? You're not even saying anything.
If I want a Marvel DC book that's Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, you think I'm gonna get the issues out on time?
It'll be a
Jim
2-year
Lee's
crossover.
not going to do this.
not Jim Lee, no.
But that's what I want.
Well, but
Again, that's why I said just one title. If you do one title, it'll be easier to do, and you'll get a higher quality book.
but DC is only going to be producing one title. It sounds like.
But that again, one title between the two, and give me a series of 4.
How
once a
does
week.
one title make Jim Lee draw faster?
They could start it right now.
It's probably already started.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get
And it's
Ivan
still gonna take
Rice
2 years.
or somebody like all right. All right,
I
it's
don't
already
know.
started. So what do you care what I think? It's already probably started. Okay. Yeah. What are you
So,
asking
I
me
don't
for?
know.
Why you should be interviewing one of these motherfuckers then.
Now, what I
Yeah.
will say is I can totally understand the idea, and I think that you hit the nail on the head, Mo, where it's like, yeah, do something creative. Like, I would not have necessarily went where you did, even though I like those ideas where it's like, oh, like, alternate universe versions of the different characters like interacting would be really interesting.
Fucking Marvel Zombies versus Blackest Night would be
fucking
crazy. Like
in my mind, what like idea that I had was like, because again, I was just like, okay, yeah, I don't know if I just want to see these guys just fighting. It's like we've done that, and it's like we kind of I don't want to say that we've had enough of it, but I want it to be more than that. It would be interesting.
Inhumans with new gods.
Listen,
no, we're not gonna get that. Like that's the one only I want.
As opposed to the friggin' Eternals.
They already shit on the Eternals. The Eternals suck now. Like,
dude, I'm telling you, man. I don't know how many times I need to tell you. You don't know anything about Eternals right now in the comics.
I don't give a fuck about any Eternals past Neil Gaiman's era. So
and that's fine, but it's good, and you're missing out.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's great.
It's fantastic. I've been telling you for I don't know how many.
I'm sure it's lovely.
Like, at least a year and a half at this point. Yeah. But and I know that there's actually a new God series that came out recently too, which I hear might be good too, but I haven't read it.
Again, I don't give a fuck about New Gods past 98, man.
Like, okay, look, I don't give a damn about nothing that new.
You give me a that 98. What is it? Fuck, I think Paul Jenkins wrote that too.
Probably.
Yeah, Paul Jenkins doing both Inhumans and fucking
New Gods
and New Gods for like 98 era type. Like, I'm creaming my fucking pants already. Like, thank you, Larry, for bringing this story. I have really high hopes for this crossover.
my like from a story perspective, my thought it would be interesting to see like the heroes like certain heroes swap like lives almost like like put like I don't know like
Hellcat and Huntress.
hilarious. I like that would probably be kind of interesting, even though for me, I'm like, I don't
It's
really
like
care as much
Titans
about
and
Hellcat or
Defenders
Oxygen.
swapping, that would be the shit. Again,
But it would,
these are only things I want to see. Like they're
But,
not gonna do none of this shit.
yeah. But just just the idea of like some of like the top heroes from those companies, like if you just like say, I mean, this is a bad example, but if you just place like say Spider-Man in like Superman's life, and it's like if everybody treated him like he was, like the people that knew the like Superman as both like say Clark Kent and as Superman, they treat Spider-Man like that, but the difference is, he's not Superman. He's like, he's
Larry.
Spider-Man, but they act as though that was normal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Larry, I love you.
What?
You're one of my greatest friends. That is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like,
Why?
I do not want to read that Spider-Man book at all. Like him having.
Well, it's not a
Superman's life.
Spider-Man book. It's
Right.
It's a DC Marvel crossover.
Yeah. That is definitely. I hope. I'm so happy that neither DC or Marvel are listening to you right now, because that might be the idea they would go run with after everything we've said. I do not like
And
that.
look,
This is how you cover it.
it's
This is how you cover
different, huh?
Gwenpool,
Yeah.
Harley Quinn team up. There you go. That's it. That's all we need to hear.
Heck, I love you like a brother. No, no kidding. Like that actually kind of works, but there's actually but I mean, but again, I don't give a fuck about the Harley Quinn book like that or the Gwenpool book like that.
I'm just listen.
But
what you all were just saying was that we've already done it. It's like been done before. Like even the idea that you gave, you put a new spin on the versus thing, but it's still versus. It's like I'm sitting here trying to talk about something that like they've never done that before. They've never like placed a Marvel hero or a DC hero into the life of another one of those joints. And they're like, who knows? It might be interesting. But,
I mean, there was that moment where like the
I
Joker.
think your
was
example
Yeah.
could have been better.
Yeah.
I was the one that told you all it was a bad example.
I
I
know.
literally said that.
Oh
from
yeah,
the
that's
beginning.
right. Yeah. Sorry. Larry,
But, like-
I've been having a lot of medical issues. I've been diagnosed with selective hearing. I apologize. Yeah, I forgot to give you my medical release for the show. You got to
If
talk
they
to
made-
Herbert at HR. Yeah.
Cyclops Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but okay. I would read it.
I want the
Right.
amalgam version of Batclops.
I mean, you still got to lead like all the Bat family.
Mm-hmm. Or if they treated the Bat family like mutants. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But but you're getting the idea. That's probably a better idea than Spider-Man.
But I
Superman.
mean,
I'm
look
so
at all
glad
this.
we let Jay talk today.
Look at all these ideas. We don't know the
Heck, I
details.
said
All
I'm
we
glad
know
we
is-
let Jay talk today. He still has something else to say.
Oh no, that was it.
Just making sure.
Go ahead. I'm-
Jay just has that resting face. It's like I'm about to say something.
But you said look at all these ideas, Heck.
Yeah, like look at all these ideas, and we don't know the extent of the partnership. We don't know the extent of what they're going to do, or if it's just the one or two titles between the two companies. And like, I feel like
Right.
we put out more money ideas than what's actually going to happen.
And here's one thing. I don't know if we're ready to move on, or it will be my final thought on the topic, but I'll say it now anyway. When you said the cynical, that we could be as comic fans, if they give me a white cover on both sides of the spectrum, like, I'm not gonna be able to pay my fucking rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm buying all those motherfuckers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting that Heck mentioned a Harley Quinn idea, and we thought it was a good idea that might work. I haven't heard anybody talk about the Harley Quinn animated show lately.
I haven't
I'm
watched.
not-
Y'all know the season's on, right?
Yeah.
like 6 episodes in.
I'm ready for it. I haven't watched it yet. I've also haven't been on a treadmill, but Well, actually, I have been. I just haven't had headphones. So
That
But,
wasn't even a judgment. I forgot that show even existed until he said,
Yeah,
Harley
no, it
Quinn.
came-
Oh
it
wait, the
came-
animated's on.
yeah. They're like on
It started in
episode 6
January.
or something already. Yeah.
I knew it was
They're
on.
not-
I just don't have Max.
They're not selling it. They're only letting you rent it through the streaming service.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I haven't watched it.
Yeah. And also there is a crossover that's similar to the Gwenpool. Speaking of heck, the Gwenpool Deadpool idea is the Elvira Harley Quinn crossover that's coming too. I think that came out of Comics Pro too. That news story, maybe a little before. And that's the one I'm excited for. For me,
What?
Yeah.
What? Harley Quinn Elvira is what you're excited for, but Marvel.
I'm a huge Elvira fan.
Marvel, you're like, eh.
I'm a huge Elvira fan.
Do you feel like Harley Quinn fits in with Elvira or vice versa?
I don't think you could create Harley Quinn if you didn't know Elvira. Like, I'm not
Okay.
saying that she's like a rip-off character, but
Yeah.
she is, like, if you watch her movies and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Elvira is like, I'm like, I didn't think about it, like, you know, before, but I'm like, you know what, she is kind of like that type of character. Like, she
Yeah.
comes into town, she brings a little chaos. You know,
Mhm.
Elvira is a little more burlesque. In
Yeah.
fact, when they changed Harley Quinn, I feel like how with Amanda Connor and oh boy, Jay, you got to get my back here.
Jimmy Palmiotti.
And Jimmy Palmiotti did their series. I felt she was more like an Elvira type character in those books,
Mm-hmm.
you know, than she was in any other of her iterations. You know, like the New 52 type of Harley Quinn that they did. Yeah, definitely. I could see an influence there, and that's what people responded to more for Harley Quinn, even more than her OG iterations. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the costumes were better, and that's an Elvira thing. You know, Elvira took Lily Munster and Morticia and
Mm-hmm.
Vampira and made her more sexy and funny at the same time, and intelligent. You know, humorous in the way that she talks. So, and I think that's definitely, like, I'm excited for that series, and I really do hope they do a white cover of that.
All right.
I might draw that
Well-
one myself. It'll be 2 stick figures with big titties and big hair. I meant big hair, not titties.
Anybody got anything else they want to say before we dip into some reviews? All right. Let's do this.
I got a question for Mo, but it's gonna be on Bug Wars. So
Review.
Like,
Review.
well, not like that, but like,
All right. Oz, you have a question for Moses about Bug Wars.
I saw. By the way, there's a lot of great covers, like the Peach Momoko cover for that too. But I saw the white cover, and it's a white cover, but there's a little dude at the bottom of it. I was wondering
I have
what
it
Mo
right
thought
here.
about that.
Show us.
I have it right here. Hold on.
That's funny.
Like when I
pretty
saw
cool.
it, I got annoyed by the box with like the author and the artist and all that. But then I saw a little dude at the bottom. I'm like, oh,
I didn't even notice that. The Peach Momoko is like, I want that shit as a fucking tattoo. I'm not a huge Peach Momoko fan, but that's a really good one. And then so she's so good, they did 2 for her. So there's this one without any like branding.
like- Yeah,
The
yeah.
one in
Virgin,
100.
Virgin
So,
cover.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait
You
to
okay?
go to the comic book store and have to pay $50 for this because
Yeah.
shit looks so good. Like,
are they gonna have it? It's a 1 in 100.
Yeah, they may not.
you know what? I might have to.
You might have to order that like, online somewhere. Cause I'm just like, who's ordering?
Let's
100
just say when
copies?
they see me walking through the door, all of a sudden they have it.
Mm.
Like, you know, I hate that about my comic book store. But funny thing about I didn't even see the little dude on the white cover. Ah man, that makes it even better because it's like a cover but not a cover. Like not like a full. It's now I'm mad they don't have a plain white cover.
Hilarious. So we should be talking, or we should tell the people what Bug Wars is. Look, why don't you tell the folks about? Well, actually, no, not. I was going to ask you to do it, Mo, but actually, I'm gonna ask you to do Cruel Kingdom. So why don't you do it, Jay?
Bug Wars is about a family moving back into their patriarch's old home where he was killed by bugs. And, you know, the mom, the older brother who hates bugs, and the younger brother who loves bugs. And basically, in this yard, you have these kingdoms of different bugs, and they're all no match for a lawnmower. So
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah. Eventually, the bug-loving kid gets shrunk down so he can interact with these kingdoms. But it takes a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Well, I mean, I like the opening of this book because it is like the ants were like the Spartans.
Dude,
like the way
it reminded me
the way they look. And then the other, I don't know what the other bugs were, but they were like barbarians. And the first few is like this battle. Like this, I thought that's what it was going to be. It was just these, you know, in this world, and then they just get wiped out, and you see the humans, and it's a story about this family.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like it does have that a pretty cool opening. What were you gonna say, Mo?
I don't know, man. I mean, I could do a whole thing with this book because it just spoke to me in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
Jason Aaron is a dude, you know, that's why Jay and I were like, hey, Jay, we got to reinvigorate TMNT, man. Who we get? Jason Aaron. We have to go drink with him because we're part of the same drinking club. We're Men of Wrath. And that's a reference to one of the greatest books he ever wrote that even Jay didn't even read it, but he's like, fuck it, let's get it. You know, sounds tight. Yeah. For me, that was one of my favorite books of Jason, and I've read his Marvel shit, and it's all good. Like his superhero shit's good. Men of Wrath is like a masterpiece. I don't even think it even finished, and I'm still there's still a hole I want Jason Aaron to fill for me about that book. Maybe I just didn't buy it. I don't know, but this book kind of gives me those vibes too, on a gentler side. So it's like, man, like I really need to chill with Jason Aaron and have a beer and just talk to him as man to man, you know, like, because the way he started this book, it was like the beginning of the Lord of the Rings movie, where it's like you get the narration and the battle scenes and everything, and then it's like it's all fucking tight, and then it's like, then you hear the little like flute music, and then you see the Shire, and it's the people moving in, and it ain't that peaceful. There's tension there too, you know, and then it turns, and then I was talking to Emily. Emily's trying to watch TV, and she's like, "Would you shut up about this fucking comic already?" Because I'm like, I tell her like, "Babe, this thing is like, it's like Narnia with fucking Conan and fucking like and insects, like." It is fucking, you know, and again, you know, I reviewed a book. It's actually in the Serpent's Crown. I believe that it might be Jason Aaron and Mabudasar, or one of the Conan books I reviewed on the channel is that team, and it's like it felt like a Conan book, you know, like a mixture, you know, the war, and then the kid being sucked in was this is definitely, again, when I talk about shooting the good load, I read this. I am mad that this isn't a creator-owned book that we're publishing over at IDW. I'm mad that it's on Image, because it's like, if we got this dude to do TMNT, why didn't we sign him a deal to do his? either. Like I gotta go flip some tables and rattle some cages this Comic Con because there's no reason why this book should have been on Image. It should have been an IDW. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, listen, I don't know if you all know this about me. You know, some people may not, but
you love bugs.
I wouldn't say I love bugs, but what I would say is I am a huge like ants are like my favorite animal. You know, like I love ants.
No, you don't.
I do.
You never read the book of Ants, the comic?
Is it called The Book of Ants?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't think I have read that, but
they turned it into a movie, so it's technically a comic book movie. But you didn't even watch that movie either.
I watched.
Actually, you might have watched that movie.
Hey,
no. The movie is called Pi.
I've seen Pi too.
Yeah, Pi is based on the comic book, The Book of Ants.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The director of the movie wrote the comic too.
Really? Okay. See, now, but that's the thing, like, you know, like legit, like when I see ants featured in something, it excites me.
Me too.
Because just because I'm like I think that they're like they're animals that don't get their due.
Yeah.
And I also feel like we can learn a lot from ants.
It's the only bug I tolerate in my house.
like you have no choice almost. That's so hard to get rid of.
But they stay out of the way. Like,
yeah,
they
that's
come
true.
in through the crevice,
Mostly.
come get a little bit of water, and they leave. Like you see a trail. Like they're not like they're not over here and like a cockroach coming across my camera and shit. You know, like bitch, get out of here. You know, like you're making me look bad here. Like, you know, Joe's apartment type shit. Not Joe's apartment, but the movie Joe's apartment. You know, but it's like, hey, what's up, buddy? It's like, hey, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I got a girl over here, man. You know, ants never cock block you. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. But yeah, man. So when I like heard about this joint, I was like, oh, like I really want to check this out. And then like I was saying, like the depiction of the ants or whatnot, I was just like, this is cool. Let me share this image real quick. Like, I was just like, dude.
Yeah, like, I fucking love that.
like you don't have to work this hard to make ants cool, in my opinion, but damn, if you do, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dude. And it's just like one of those things where it feels like the book feels like somebody who actually does like or took the time to learn about the different insects and like how like it's not just like slapping like, say, for instance, like random fantasy or like tropes. You know, sorcery archetypes on top of just random bugs. It feels like they thought about how those things should go together and like which ones might fit different like fantasy archetypes better than others, which is interesting because we haven't even seen, all we've really seen in this first issue are the ants and the beetles for the most part, right? Am I mistaken? Oh no, and then
I don't think we've even seen all the beetles. I haven't seen Ringo yet.
Hilarious. Listen, I mean, technically, I think we did actually see cockroaches in the walls, yeah. but again, it was like I even that I really loved because I was just like, dude, like
he said cockroaches. I know Jay doesn't like insects. So I feel bad for him.
I think Jay only dislikes spiders. Really.
Flies too, like, or bees. Like yeah, he doesn't like bees.
Well, bees, but I think Jay's thing of bees is like everybody's, like most people's thing of bees, where they're like, oh, you're worried about getting stung.
Not my thing of bees. Yeah, no.
No, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I feel you on that. Like, trust me.
I let them sting the fuck out of me. I'm cool.
But honey is their spit. It's like kissing a bee.
Dude, I have the sweet habanero honey. the spicy kiss of the bee. You're like, now that's what I'm gonna call it when I describe it to people. Thank
The
you.
spicy kiss of the bee.
Yeah, I put that shit on hot dogs. I put that shit on everything. It's like Frank's Red Hot Sauce.
You know,
me.
it kind of what kind of bugged me about the story.
Bugged. I get it.
Yeah, maybe I missed it, but like, why does the brother go nuts all of a sudden with the raid and starts trying to kill everything? Because
Because
it's
of the
sudden. Well, but it's sudden,
Yeah.
and he goes after his brother's bugs. But I'm assuming his brother has had those bugs for a while. Like, he didn't just get them that day. And like, all of a sudden, he's acting like these bugs are gonna kill you.
Yeah. Well, I can't say for certain, but what it from what I read and the way that it felt to me was that you have the brother and the older brother they're moving back into this house, right? And this is the house where he saw his father die
They
from
do show what he saw too. Look.
Yeah,
Right.
I get him
bugs.
wanting to kill all the bugs in the house, but why has he let his brother have this huge collection of bugs up until this point?
Well, I don't think that. He's not supposed to kill his brother's bugs. Period. And so, but I think that what the difference is right now is he's reinserted into this place that's traumatic for him, right? So his reactions are amped up. Like, he says, if I'm remembering right, he's like, "Oh, I can hear them through the walls,"
Yeah,
And I hear
he tells his brother, "I'm saving your life, and you don't appreciate it."
Right.
Right.
He probably
His
had
brother's
like a
bugs.
PTSD moment type of
No,
thing.
and that's pretty much what it is, where this feels like he's being reinserted into this place where he had this huge trauma and he's not handling it well. And so he goes and tries to kill all of his brother's bugs, and he's freaking out. Like he believes, like he says, that I think he does believe that he's saving his brother's life, because he's like, we're all going to get eaten by these bugs, just like how their father was, which, I mean, again, and who knows if that's what actually happened. That's what he believes he saw, definitely.
Like, they
But-
show us what he saw, and if I was that young and saw that, I'd probably feel the same way.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was just that. But again, it's like, it's a matter of like how reliable is the narration, right? Like we saw what, or at least it could have been a straight flashback, but it could have been his interpretation of what he saw.
The way it's done in the story, the younger brother, I think, is telling the story of what his older brother saw, and that's the image we see. So I don't know if that's exactly what he saw, or that's what he said he saw.
Right.
Again,
Exactly.
this is why I love he uses the unreliable narrator but we're so enthralled in it too that we're like, why is he doing this? Where it's like, this is what the interpretation of it, like again.
So
he's our boy. That's how we put him on TMNT, right, Jay?
Mahmoud is way too talented to do body horror. Like, dude, I did not spend a lot of time on that page.
Yeah, no, it's freaky. It is freaky. I agree.
There's a page I want to. Actually, no, this isn't for this book. Actually, never mind, sorry. But there is a page that I saw that I really liked, and again, talking about the art right now with Mahmoud, it's I'm a huge fan of his, and seeing him do this, it's like the colors. Shout out to the colorist. I don't know if he did his own colors, but it's a comic that I even like. I was reading it and I'm like, fuck, I have to share it to the people, like, on social media. So I screen capped my little like rant on Instagram today, which is I want to share with you guys too, in case you guys don't follow me there. But basically, like, when I saw this page, I was like, "Fuck, I love comics." Like, it's just there's green blood everywhere. It's and leading up to this, the build up to that scene was cool. The kid getting
Yeah.
sucked into that world, and then he's like, yeah, and fuck you and fuck your face. And then he fucking murders a fucking insect
Mike.
person, insectillion. I fucking I just that panel right there is just I love so much. I had to share it. I'm like, because like this is what. Unless you read comics, you don't experience this, and the lead up to it is really the great part, and that you only get from this fucking medium. You don't get it in TV, you don't get it in a lot of like TV almost feels formulaic to me, because and even some comics too, but every now and then you get something like this, and it just stands out. Just the color theory in this page alone is really like it's artistry in motion not in motion, static, but the motion is it fuels the imagination, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. No, it's pretty amazing. And it definitely like, if what was happening in the book by itself wasn't enough for you to be like, oh, like I'm interested, that moment right there very well might just be like, oh, like what is this now? Like, dude has powers or whatnot, which again, I know for me, I'm like, my thought was like, okay, does he have powers, or is he just have the proportional strength of his
a human
regular size? Yeah, exactly. Where I'm just like, hey, like maybe that's what it is, because I'm like, man, that's crazy if that's the case, because I could totally understand then why he could punch through the face of somebody.
Now, this is a question I thought about it. Well, I thought about when talking about you guys, and even heck, now that you're on it, you're welcome to chime in. It's like if you were like a warrior in the insectillion, maybe arachnid kingdom, or even vermin. Like you want to be a rat, you could be a rat, but like what would you pick?
I mean, I'm going with the ants.
Yeah, I know.
like,
how about
don't
you,
get me
Jay?
wrong.
Like, I know Jay has a issue with bugs to a degree. I know he wouldn't want to be a fly or anything, or maybe he would.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Think about it tonight when you're sleeping and naked.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have to make a YouTube short about it and link it to our video.
What about you?
Squirrels.
With the squirrels? Yeah. Okay, that counts. Like, because it's like the yard. That's the, they're like the mammoths of the yard in the insect world, like that. Like, because that's what they mentioned. Possums. It's like fuck. Like, if a possum, and that's what I didn't like. That's a bone I have to pick with Jason Aaron. He misspelled possum. So
did he?
It's opossum.
I mean, you can do one or the other, right?
Not me.
They're two different. Well, no, not really, but
no. There's only opossum. It's just the O silent. Trust me, I've ate a few. Like it's the O silent.
So, anybody else know what bug kingdom they want?
Oz, what would you be?
I didn't know we could do animals too. I was
well, not every animal,
when you first said it, I was thinking praying mantis. Because they look kind of badass. They're like,
no, that works. No, that technically that counts. I mean, we here in California we got them. How about you, Hick?
Shit. Well, going off of that, probably just a lizard.
Like a noli.
Like a noli.
No, I like that. Yeah, I didn't even think about the reptilian part. Dang.
Yeah. What
That
about
changes
you,
my
Mo?
whole thing. No, now I need to get in bed with Joe and figure it out because now that we have reptiles in it, because I'm like, yeah, they mentioned possums. It's like the squirrel works and
Yeah.
but I mean, I always go with spiders. Like that's what I like in the bugs. Like I would love to be a warrior for the spider kingdom. They don't have they're solitary. They're not super hive mindy.
Yeah.
I also like
Me.
wasps. Like they don't
Mm.
die when they sting you, so they're not
Mhm.
kamikaze people, but and
They're just assholes.
yeah, so and they still have a queen, but it's like I would like to be the queen wasp.
We have wasps up here. They're dicks.
Yeah, they really are. We get them out here too, the yellow jackets.
It's wild because in the book they do mention both like the wasp and the
Mhm.
spiders, and
Can't wait to see them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, look, and especially like like I believe that's what Peach Momoko's drawing, which
Yeah.
they talk about them like they're like seers and witches or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, there's a lot of world building that happens in this first issue.
I'm gonna
There's
have
a
to buy
map of the
that 1 in
property.
100 issue.
There's a map of the property with like where all of the different bugs are too.
Oh, dude, I fucking love that. Like, because it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but like Lord of the Rings at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, or like, yeah, it's
So like Stranded.
yeah, but better.
Is Stranded's the video game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the video game ain't like this. Like, I mean, you read the comic, so
I mean, it's pretty much.
yeah, but without the the game don't look like this.
The end.
I think it froze.
Yeah, Jay had no rebuttal. Jay's like, no, you know what? It does. I don't know. Look, but
He's about to take off his clothes and start thinking what bug he would be. I love you, Jay.
So okay. So what else do we want to say about Bug Wars #1?
I have
Shall we
some
rate it
anecdote, but let's rate it first, and I'll go to the anecdote because this might or might not want to be recorded.
Okay. So Jay, what would you rate Bug Wars #1?
I would give it a 3. I mean, there's a lot there, but it does take a while to get where it's going, and it's all interesting. But at the same time, I wouldn't have minded a little quicker pace.
Got you. Okay, sounds good. Oz, how about you?
I'm probably gonna go with 4. It would be a 5, but I took a point off for pacing, just like Jay said. But dude, if it would have been like the opening of this book of just these ant kingdoms at war, I would have been happy. Now you're throwing a human in there, and it's interesting. Like I'm interested in this story, and there's some parts in the middle that I wasn't really into, so I lost the point. But it's still a 4. It's still worth picking up and maybe seeing where this goes.
Gotcha.
Do we know how many
Okay.
issues this is?
I think it's an ongoing, right? It's a good question. Like for
I
some
don't know,
reason.
but
Oh no,
I
you
kinda
know what?
hope
It's 6 issues. No, it's 6 issues.
Yeah, this type of story doesn't seem like it should be ongoing. Like at some point, the kids got to go home.
Ongoing. It's like forever with the
even-
Bug Wars.
yeah, like the type of kid
Mahmoud
he
actually
is. Like,
works. Mahmoud is still doing books for DC and Marvel, so like he doesn't.
like,
have
he might be doing the crossover.
So okay. Moses Magnum, what would you rate?
This is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is the best thing I've read from Jason Aaron since Men of Wrath. Like, I feel they might even be connected. Like, I think they take place in the same town. Like, yeah, but yeah, Shout out to Heck, sent me the eBay listing for the Peach Momoko cover.
Nice.
Got it at cover price. Thank you.
What's
Heck.
the cover
Did you
price?
buy it?
Okay.
Yeah, I just bought it right now. Yeah.
So it's what, like 7 or 8
Well, you
bucks?
give me. I'm gonna waste time. Wait till that shit goes up. Wait till they make a movie and the shit's $200. Like and it's like the marketing is that Spider Lady. So the Peach Momoko is like the first appearance, technically. Yeah, you think I'm gonna wait for that shit?
Shit.
Honestly, I just want to frame it and put it in the shop.
Yeah, it's
That shit
the
looks
virgin,
amazing.
the virgin cover and everything.
Not the Virgin. No, I got the other one. But that's until I can. I might get the white cover and have somebody redo the Peach Momoko one. I have Mirka and Dolpho
Peach
redo it.
Momoko or somebody else?
No. Hey, no, not Peach Momoko.
Hey, but all the promotional stuff for the white cover doesn't have the little dude.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get to go to the comic book shop today, and I know when I went up. Okay, so that's the anecdote I wanted to get to about this book too. Sorry, before we go on a derail.
Can I rate it or no?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
Okay.
I forgot you're part of the show too.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. I actually didn't have any issue with the pacing. It like for me, I think it was just like maybe I did want to see more of the actual world as like I feel like it told me a lot. It didn't show a lot. It showed 2, and I'm like, okay, but at the same time, that's like I understand they're holding some back, but I wanted to see more. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 just because like it was great, and I can't wait. I know issue 2 I think is gonna be even better, so I'm excited for it.
When people complain about well, I say people, but I really mean you dudes. Complain about the pacing of it. These motherfuckers act like they weren't happy in the theater watching the Lord of the Rings for the first time. You know, like
Right.
because that's what the intro feels like. You know, like you know. But again, it's different watching a movie than in a comic. So I do again. That's why, like I could yell at you for that. But now the older, wiser me wouldn't do that. I'll accept your opinion, and you know, I wipe my ass with it after camera. But no, I'm kidding. No, it is a valid point. Like, because I did have, I'm like, but I enjoyed the ride and usually I'm not good at enjoying the ride. So
yeah.
So it's like if it works for me, I'm like, why didn't it work for you? But no, that's what makes us who we are. That's why I love talking to you guys about this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
The anecdote. So a comic book store that I frequent told me about this book. That's how I got it. And the dude gets like something at Image. It's like now that they're having new books, they're doing they do calls with the creators for 15 minutes. You get like as a shop owner, you get to talk to the creator about the book they're trying to sell, and they say we can set up a signing. Now I don't know if the signing is guaranteed by Image. I took when I talked to the dude, that's kind of what he kind of alluded to that it could be, but it could be just my misinterpretation. So I'm putting it on me, and that's I'm not even naming him. You know, Image could punch me in the face if they want, if they can land it. But,
if you can,
yeah. but yeah, we're talking about it. So I'm like, oh, you know, it's like, and he goes, it's a great book, and I'm like, hey, I'll buy it, you know, and I bought 2 of them right off the bat. Because if you like this video, you can go to our YouTube link in the description and buy it and monetize us so we can keep talking about more comics. I'm sorry, monetize me. But yeah, and so he got to talk to Jason Aaron about it, and I'm like, dude, like next time they do this, like let me know. Like, can I just sit in, like be like, you know, back in high school, like he's talking to the yeah, like yeah, like, and he's like, he goes, you know what, fuck it, yeah, I'll let you know. So we'll see if I can do that. And like, can I record it? And I'm like, you bring the equipment, you figure out how to record it, do that shit, you know, because he's salty that they didn't give him the signing, you know,
right.
like, that he wanted. So who knows? Maybe we might have you know, for our audio listeners, we do have the bootleg series that you only get in audio, and you might have a whole new Fantastic Forum Hoover edition. Like, fucking listening in on retailers talks to Jason Aaron. Yeah, I might have to that's what pissed me off too. It's like, fuck, now I gotta pre-produce this motherfucker's phone call too, and like he doesn't even know I do this podcast. Like I just talked to him dude to dude. Like he's like, yeah, fuck it, come do it. Now I gotta pre-produce his fucking phone call. You know? It's like, don't say that shit, stupid. Here, say this. It's like I gotta treat him like I treat Larry now.
It's good to know the abuse will be spread around.
Yeah. It's not just it's not a you thing, Larry. It's a me thing. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. You guys ready to do some Cruel Kingdom?
Yeah.
All right, Moses, man, tell the people what Cruel Kingdom is.
Cruel Kingdom is a. They sold it to me as a sword and sorcery anthology, which is like I'm a huge fan of sword and sorcery, and as the older I get, the more I like it. I don't know why. It's something about maybe my testosterone diminishing or something, but yeah, I joined a sword and sorcery group on Facebook, just sharing memes about Conan and different movies that I haven't seen yet. That I'm like, oh shit! Like I knew that movie existed, but I didn't get to watch as a fan of the genre. You know?
Really?
Yeah. It's like there's stuff that comes out, and we grew up in the era where we didn't have streaming services, so whatever we could get at the video stores, we got, and then there's stuff that came out in other countries that we haven't seen yet. That's probably like on Tubi right now. You know what I mean? And or Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has a really good collection of sword and sorcery stuff. So if you like that, but this is a from what I read, I only read issue 1. I was trying to read issue 2, but I was way too tired and I knocked out. Shout out to my wife Emily, because she had an alarm going, like, you got to go on the show. Like at 6:15 her alarm went up. Hey, go turn on, you set up your shot and everything. So luckily I woke up before, but she's like, don't worry. And I'm like, babe, I fell asleep. And she's like, yeah, I had an alarm going, don't worry about it, I got you. Yeah, like, thank you. So she's a secret producer on my end here. But yeah, so this book is an anthology series that is a sword and sorcery type, but they add sci-fi elements to it. So it's like a mashup. And they end up being a little bit sardonic, a little, when I say sardonic, think Twilight Zone. That's my pretentious way of saying Twilight Zone-y, But because it's a little nihilist, a little humor, a little tongue-in-cheek humor at the end, a little twist at the end, Shyamalan-y, like
Shyamalan.
So it's like, and the first issue really did that. And yeah, the first issue did it all around, I think. Yeah, every story in there was kind of like, the first 2 were definitely like sci-fi, sword and sorcery amalgamations. And then what's the other one? The other one was like the Snow White one with the dwarf.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one was what?
There's a Lord of the Rings looking one.
Yeah. There's another one that was Lord of the Rings too. That's the Al Ewing one, I think. But yeah, either way, there's you're gonna have a good time reading these if you like your Twilight Zones, your American Horror Stories, or stuff like that. These new modern media, it becomes an anthology series in a sense like that. Yeah. And this one is it's produced by EC Comics. It's the return of EC Comics, and it also has they're doing really good. The teams, like I think Steve Niles did one on the second book, the second issue, and they're getting real good teams doing together. I mean, the teams that should be doing the Marvel, I'm not gonna say versus DC, but the crossover, like the people that should be doing that are doing Bug Wars and and this book right here, the Cruel Kingdom book. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, Larry. I wasn't ready for this.
Well, no, I mean, look, I just asked you to tell people what it is, and I think you did a good job. And it definitely is a little bit of or it's fantasy stories with a healthy addition of horror elements added to it, and sci-fi-ish type stuff. Let me come to you, Jay. How did you feel about some of the stories in this book? Because I mean, like, there's a lot of different types of stories. They have similar themes, but they're different types of stories. How did you feel about it?
Overall, I enjoyed most of them. Especially the first two stories of issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
The first story was very nostalgic to me. Like, it reminded me of another story that I really love. And the second one is just good writing. Like, just really well written.
Okay.
And so on. Like, some of them are pretty good. Like, there were no bad stories, I thought. But the first two were definitely my favorites. The King with the Immunity Sword was also a big one.
Yeah. How about you, Oz?
Couldn't really get into it. Like the first story I read through and I actually like really enjoyed.
Okay.
The second one, like I tried to get into it and there's just so many words. Like I just
wait, there's so many words. Is that what you said?
It's a lot. It's a lot of
so
reading,
many.
and I just kept
Oh
like,
my God.
like
He's like, who put all these words
Father.
here in this comic book?
But then the next one was a little bit better with what was he supposed to be like one of the Seven Dwarfs or something? It seemed like it was a Sleeping Beauty story, right? But
yeah,
they made it seem like he was like the
dwarf.
8th dwarf, which
The
is
one they don't talk about.
Snow White thing. But the dwarves are a Snow White thing, I thought. Anyway, that was a little bit more interesting, but yeah, I really couldn't get too much into the book past the first story. You know, there were other stories that were better and worse, but other than the first one, I really just couldn't get into this book.
So the second one, which was like more of the kind of play on the Hobbit, and then they get visited by like basically like space people. Like that one for you, it didn't do it for you because it was just too text heavy, or was it like it? Is it like? Let me ask you this: if there was better art, do you feel like it might have held your attention more?
Maybe, because I think that's what happened with the Sleeping Beauty one. I think I like the
Mhm.
art in that a little better. That
Mhm.
second story reminded me of the Lord of the Rings animated movie,
Mhm.
which I hate the art on that.
Mm.
I can't stand that one, and maybe that kind of like affected me mentally.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, I could totally see that. I could see that.
That
And don't get me
like,
wrong.
there's more words than art in each page, in each panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't feel like I'm not certain that there's like that many more words in that second story than the third one with the dwarf.
The second story was the visitors one, right? The people that come and
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay,
aliens
from
and the hobbits.
Others.
yeah, and that was one of my favorites because the art
Yeah.
wasn't where it needed to be, but the words filled in my imagination. Like I could have read that as prose and loved
Yeah.
it just as much.
Yeah,
It
no, I
felt
really
like I
enjoyed
was
that
reading a
story
prose
too.
novel.
Right, but again, that's what I loved about. Again, this is some of the things we doing, like, and again, there's no criticism to your criticism of this book, but it's when watching TV and watching TV get formulaic and shit. This is the things that really like stimulate the imagination. This is why I love fucking comics, because
Mhm.
it's like, okay, the art's where it needs to be so I can see it, and then when they describe the ship there's a panel where they describe the ship, but there's a lot of words describing the ship, and then they draw it, and it looks like a little turd, you know, a little silver turd, and it's like, but I'm seeing what they're saying, and it's like it's help, you know, it's part of the. This is how a lot of these old anthology books were, you know, like the EC comics, like they're. If you read it, these are all very word heavy because the art wasn't. They're just moving the words along. But
I'll add in. Look, I haven't been sleeping very much lately.
No, totally. Yeah.
So you put a lot of words on a page, and my eyes are just glazed over.
In general, I mean, in general, a lot of like if this is also a business. If you want to sell it, people got to be able to read it, and everybody is not at the same level. Look. I'm at the lowest level that there is. I think it just hit me at the right. Again, I told you, I didn't read issue 2. I fell asleep reading it. You know, so I can't talk about issue 2. But yeah, no, I in that story in particular, I loved how the words filled in whatever the art couldn't. You know.
Yeah. I know for me, like, you know, I mean. Overall, I enjoyed the book, but I know that like the final story was the one that kind of let me down, where I was just like, and not because well, you know what it was is that I was because I had read the other stories and like enjoyed them, and I was enjoying
the final one.
It's called The Demon's Face, and it's the one where you had the woman. Was going to go pull the sword from the stone, basically.
Oh yeah.
And it was just one of those things where it was like I was like, oh, okay, like the setup I thought was cool, and I was like enjoying it, and I was ready to see like what happens next. And then ultimately it just kind of like it felt like that story just fizzled out. Like almost like as if like somebody was like, oh wait, like they had a whole story and they're like, oh no, you only get like 6 pages, and he was like 6. You told me 8. I'm like, no, you only get 6. You know, like it felt like that to me, where I'm just like, oh, this is the end of that story, huh? Like
Jay can attest to this too. This is basically like one of your filler, and I'm not talking to the quality of it, but it's like they need 4 stories per issue. They could have done it with 3 and had a solid first issue. Like this happens in Tales of the Crypt. Like even watching the old show, like there's the segments, and then there's that one segment. It's like, this one was okay, you know. Like
I happen to like that segment.
I love the segment, especially how short it is, because it's like it's almost like a setup and a punchline, you know. Like it's just not, you don't find it funny, but it's a twist, a setup and a twist, you know. But we in being fans of Tales from the Crypt or horror anthologies, like there's always this. I'm sorry, say that again.
Perversions of science.
Perversions of science. Yeah, there's always one of these little stories in there. Even in the Junji Ito's, like there's like just a weird, quirky little one that's just a setup and a punchline. Really, that's just maybe just a scare, or you know, like Jay, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, yeah, and every issue of any comic that you read in this style has that story in there.
Gotcha. Well, I feel like they should have put that story third.
Yeah, that placement makes a big point. Like it's like the same way like Saturday Night Live does the music acts, and then right after the music act they go into Weekend Update, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Mary, you read both issues, right?
I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that 4th story in the first book, I didn't read the second book. I think it's weird because that had like the better art style, but each panel feels like it was missing stuff. Like I feel like the colorist like just took away a bunch of lines that should have been there, and it felt like emptier than it should. It's weird. Like I like the art style, but it always felt like something was missing.
I feel that. Yeah. No, it does. You're right. You're right about that. And yeah, I don't know if it was like the colorist, and you can see definitely like there is like one panel of her face where I'm like, oh, that looks like how every other like panel probably should have looked like that.
Well, yeah, there's like a
But
panel with the guy with the hood, and his face is like half there. That's an amazing panel, but you don't
yeah,
get that much detail in every other panel in that book in
right,
that story.
right. Yeah, it's very strange how that works, or how it works like that. I guess maybe it's a better way to say it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what what that deal is in that regard, because and yeah, it just feels very abrupt, and so I don't know. Um, yeah, like, is this the way that you all would like, or I guess maybe like this is more direct towards you, Mo, where I know you're saying like you're big on fantasy lately, and I know that you already you're a
Sword
big
and
horror guy
sorcery.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sword. Oh, right, okay, sword and sorcery. I mean, like that. We don't want to mistake it with all
Yeah.
fantasy in general. Right.
There's a movement with like there's a big fantasy movement right now, and it's all romantic fantasy. So it's like it's like Game of Thrones, but all about like kissing and fucking and
Really?
foreplay. Yeah,
Isn't
and
that
dudes are
what Game of
reading it.
Thrones was?
No. Like Game of Thrones was like the porn version of what's happening right now. Like there's all these books that are all just like it's literally all foreplay, and dudes are reading it too. Yeah. I forget the name. I had a list because I wanted to bring it up, but I I'm a shitty. I'm a good pre-producer. I'm a shitty executioner. Mhm. But yeah, yeah. Sorry, Larry. Go ahead.
So I
Finish your
I was
question.
just gonna ask is like how like do you like your sword and sorcery and horror mixed together? Do you prefer that?
Oh,
And if you
absolutely.
do,
They
like, is there one that you like? What's the ratio of it? Like, do you prefer a little bit more sword and sorcery? You prefer a little bit more horror?
I was more taken aback by the science fiction part of it.
Hmm.
In the first issue, that was the part that made it odd, but it worked, especially in that second story that I guess I was the one that liked the most.
Hmm.
but but um but yeah, definitely I was more taken aback by the technological and science aspect of it. But definitely the horror when you're like a Conan type person, like where all you know is violence and the physical world, and then there's a mystical horror that you like at the end of a cave, and that's your quest. Like, there's nothing scarier than all you got is a fucking loincloth and your fucking sword and your fucking pride to fight it. So, and you still fucking do it. Like that makes the horror even better. Like that's why I guess that's why I laugh at like the Conjuring universe and shit, because it's like I watched the Conjuring 2 and it's like the ghost is like, get out, it's my house. And he puts the TV to the show that he wants. I'm like, fuck you, bitch. I'm paying rent. You're gonna be in my house, you're gonna haunt my house, you're gonna pay the fucking bills, or don't watch the TV when I'm not home, because that's money I'm paying when I don't enjoy the TV. I watch what you want to watch, but as long as I'm paying the bills, we're gonna watch it together. You know? Like, yeah, that's how I handle ghosts. Like, I'm not gonna fuck, we're living here, you paying half the rent, bitch. Yeah. Cause yeah, I don't like that's my sensibility, and that's why like a dude like Conan always vibes with me. Like, I ain't afraid of ghosts. I just want him to pay the water bill.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, it goes good. Like Robert E. Howard and Jay. Sorry, touchy subject, but Robert E. Howard and fucking the Cthulhu dude, H.P. Lovecraft, like they were friends, and that world goes together. Like a lot of the gods that they worship there are like the old gods that he deals with in modern times. So they connect. There's a lot of connections together, and even George R. R. Martin, like in was it House of Dragons, like one of the ladies that she went off on a trip, she explored the southern continent, and the southern continent is like the Hyborian age of Conan, like in the Game of Thrones world. Like it's a continent where they don't know, and all the monsters they all the monsters that she describes on her way back, because she couldn't land. If she landed, they fucking die. They got like giant spiders and shit, and it's all the shit that Conan fought, and that's one of George R. R. Martin things. Like I love H.P. Lovecraft, I love Robert E. Howard, and I want my world to fit in there too. You know.
Okay. Anybody got anything else they want to say about Cruel Kingdom? Okay. Well, shoot, let's do some ratings. Oz, what would you rate Cruel Kingdom #1?
I'm probably gonna go with the 3. It's worth picking up. I mean, there's 4 stories in each book, so there's gonna be at least 1 or 2 that you're gonna enjoy. So yeah, it's definitely worth picking up. Check it out. I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay. Jay, how about you?
I'll give it a 5. I really enjoyed the stories and the feel and the tone.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Moses Magnum, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jay with a 5 too, because I love the tone, the feel. I love how they executed it. I love the art in every single story, and also I like because it's still a modern take on the old type of genre, not just the anthology horror stuff, but like the way they do fantasy. Like it feels fresh and new, even though the tropes are still the regular tropes. You know what I mean? And they really found a way to like reinvent the wheel and then do it in a way that feels familiar too from the stuff I like that's old, you know. And yeah, so definitely that's where it really gets me. I would give it a 6 if they would let me edit it and pick the talent to do the next issues. You know, wink, wink. Yeah.
Oh, like you're dropping the hint.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like overall, I'd probably go ahead and like the series I really like enjoy in general, and I'd probably give it like as far as like a series goes, I would give it a 4. You know, but if I'm talking about like say like issue 1 specifically, I'm like,
well, we're talking about 1 and 2.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So if we talk about 1 and 2, I would say 4. It's a great way to like I feel like this is the kind of like book that could be a good introduction to people for either one of the genres, whether it's like horror or whether it's like, you know, sword and sorcery kind of fantasy or whatnot. Like it's cool stuff, and it like I just feel like it has like a really interesting kind of like tone and execution to it. Yeah, I'll definitely check out issue 3. And this is for me, I'm like, this is not normally the kind of thing that I normally would like. I wouldn't necessarily pick this up on my own and read it, but I'm happy that we reviewed it because like this is something where I'm like, dude, I would like to see more stories like this. So cool. Yeah, man. All right. Let's do some final thoughts.
Somebody hit a button.
It's coming. It's coming. There we go. Thank you. I apologize, friend. Talk to us. Give us some final thoughts, man. Tell us what's going on with you. What do people need to know?
What do people need to know? Hey, I got solar. Technically, it's not finalized yet, but it's on the roof. I got to inspect and shit and finish it, but it's there.
Okay.
And when they were installing that, I watched Blue Beetle.
Oh,
how'd you like that?
It's a very Mexican movie. Very Mexican movie.
I don't know, man. It's too Mexican to be eating tacos. Isn't that that's what you said, right, Oz? You're like, I eat the tacos.
It just seemed a little like, yeah.
Everybody likes tacos, Oz. I don't know.
I've been eating tacos since before the movie, straight till today. Like, everything I do is I wrap it in a tortilla. Like, I'm eating spaghetti, I wrap it in a tortilla.
I like the actor. His name is Cholo. Like, dude.
Hilarious.
Yeah, when I saw his name, I was
I
like,
like my Beatles less blue and less Mexican.
and that's
so
why
He's great in Cobra Kai.
So you said you liked you said it was very Mexican.
Yes.
And so Heck, we just to clarify for the people, you see that as a positive or a negative?
for me, it's a positive
Got it.
because there's representation and it's not vibe.
Right.
I'd rather have vibe.
I was
Thank
hoping for a vibe
You
cameo.
would, Oz. You would. No.
I was hoping
Got
for
it.
a vibe cameo. It felt would have fit, but there wasn't, and we had some weird hippie George Lopez. It was
Yeah.
so weird.
That is weird.
Uh,
I agree.
I love the
Overall, I
grandma.
liked it.
Grandma was
The
awesome.
grandma was badass, man, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody, we all had that grandma.
I mean, I don't know. By the time I came around, my nana was pretty old. So, and But-
She died when I was like 1.5, but I got a picture of her holding me and the machete at the same time.
oh shit, my nana was about the one memory I remember. My nana was in her 80s at least. I went mid 80s, and we were at her house, and my dad was watching boxing with her because my nana loved boxing, and so did my dad.
Yeah, she did.
And my nana got into it. She was up. She was in chingalo. She was into it. But yeah, that's what the nana in the movie reminded me of. Maybe a little more hardcore in the movie, but yeah. Overall, I give the movie 4 out of 5.
Okay, cool.
It's everybody should watch it and see what could have came after that, because I mean there were good Easter eggs in that movie that could have led to something cooler in a sequel or whatever, but DC was like, we'll put that out. And
I love how they handled the Ted Cord shit. Like, that's the
Yeah.
perfect way to do it. Like, not like the comics, but in the,
and they had his costume,
Yeah.
like
everything. Like, it works. It fits. Like, I just, again, it's Jay gets what he wants. I don't get what I want. Yeah.
And it's one of the, out of everything pre James Gunn DC movieverse, whatever, that's one of the biggest fuck ups of them all. Because Justice League Snyderverse had its own thing, and it was never gonna do good.
Yeah.
I
But
think Gunn acknowledges it as part of his DCU.
But they don't have plans of making
I don't
more.
think he does.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
No, he acknowledged it. He did say that, but he's like, it's not. They're just not gonna do anymore.
And that's
Yeah, it's a waste. Like right now, it's when we need it the most.
like when you see Blue Beetle, you see the potential, and the movie itself isn't that bad. Like
Yeah, the movie was pretty good.
it's on par with fucking the first Wonder Woman
Mhm.
and Aquaman, but I never saw.
No,
Aquaman.
I put it with like the first Iron Man too. Like it's
Yeah,
like it.
That's crazy, Tom.
No,
I don't even
not-
know what
like,
you're saying right
the
now.
quality, like the way they did the effects and everything.
Oh.
That Larry's on his Disney boner. Sorry.
oh,
I'm just
it's
saying,
fine.
like, you,
It's fine.
look,
It's both
you
a
compare-
Disney boner and his hatred of Mexicans.
No, Lord. I'm just saying,
Wow.
listen, we're not even going to bring up the fact that y'all are comparing a movie from 2020 to one from like 2008.
Like Lawrence will tell you, he hates any cholo. Like,
Some of my best friends are cholos.
How high are your
What's up
thoughts
with
right now,
Jay?
sir?
I got a golden ticket.
All right, Oz, give us some final thoughts, man.
Next week, Daredevil Born Again, and I just found out they're doing a Punisher one shot.
Like a Punisher
special.
one.
Like
Yeah,
Really?
like a special
Yeah.
presentation,
like they did the Werewolf by Night. Like yeah,
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
it
Is it gonna be
that's-
called War Journal?
I
It
don't know.
better.
Dude, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look, if
Should
they
just do
just
that-
did
make
like
that
a Halloween
annual.
one where he's like the Michael Myers killing bad people, like
it's so
Yeah, so
cool.
now we
It's
know
like-
what we're talking
Oh, that was
about
gonna
next week.
happen. That's so
yeah,
cool.
if it's like Saw, but like him killing criminals, like,
That would be cool,
but
too.
I don't know. Disney, again, I never get what I want.
I'll watch the fuck out of that.
That's kind of like what that we had that Punisher movie though that was like that, right? That was almost like
Only
was
because he
it
didn't
War
talk.
Journal?
But yeah, it was Warzone. But
yeah, Warzone.
But
Yeah.
it was that kind of, but only just because they didn't write any lines for him. But everybody
Yeah.
keeps telling him to shut the fuck up, but he's not saying anything. Yeah, so that's the only problem.
Also,
And the director of that movie is actually a really good director too. Like she did one of my favorite movies.
That movie was great.
Green Screen. No, it wasn't.
he blows up a dude midair in this movie. Like that alone is worth the price.
Oh. Alright. Yeah.
Also, that Punisher's dead. Like that guy's dead now. So.
Yeah, Ray
Stevenson,
Winston,
right?
Stevenson. Yeah,
yeah,
the real Gray Jedi.
yeah.
He was the only good thing in that show too.
I don't know. The other Gray Jedi was really good too.
What? It's his little Shih Tzu dog chick.
Hell yeah, she was fucking tight.
You know, both of them didn't get enough screen time. I'll give you that.
It should have been a show about them.
Yeah, I would totally. Yeah, I'd rather
But either way,
see
like
them
I mean, I still like what I got, so I'm not complaining. You're complaining, I'm not. Let's clear that up. Yeah.
Moses Magnum, give me some final thoughts.
I got a new video to make. It's like what I would like to see as a the DC crossover thing. Stay tuned. You might get that.
I sent over a video
If
too.
you subscribe, like, and hit the bell. And shout out to Heck, man, the intellectual of the group, where it's
Sure.
he got me that link to that Peach Vocal cover for cover price. Thank you. Heck. I should be here in 2 days.
My finder's fee in the mail.
Hey, don't worry, I got your back, bro. Anything you need, you know where to get, you know where to reach out to me. You need somebody
For the-
killed, I got it. I mean, nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
We're talking
Heck,
Blue
if
Beetle.
you ever get to Comic-Con, your drinks are on me.
Hey, thank you, man. I
Shit,
appreciate
we're
it.
going to Tucson Comic Con and partying at Heck's house.
Is there a Texan Comic-Con?
Yeah,
I
there
might
is.
go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, every year.
Like Texan or Tucson?
Tucson.
Texan.
Okay,
Oz
got
has been in the Midwest for too long, so it makes sense.
it.
But it's fun. Did I ever tell you the story about the time WWE came and they put the word for Tucson wrong on the Rock's shirt?
Damn.
And it
No.
was Tuscan,
Tuscan.
What? Tuscan? That's a whole
Yes.
different thing.
Yeah.
and
Tuscan
everybody
is-
bought that
is
shirt
Italy.
in the rain.
Yeah, there's a romantic comedy movie, or not even romantic comedy, like romantic drama. Yeah, about the vineyards and shit. The
Yep.
Tuscan,
Right.
under the
Tuscan.
Tuscan sun. Yeah, yeah, under the Tucson sun. You know.
Fuck that.
All right,
Tucson
listen.
song, man.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We're the Fantastic Forum. Have a good night.